good people of the internet. Welcome back to another episode of Forever Flowers. Today on Forever Flowers, we're going to be talking about Wesley Johnathen. Now, a lot of you might be like, who is Wesley Johnathen? But if I showed you a picture of Wesley Johnathen, you'd know who Wesley Johnathen is. Wesley Johnathen was that guy who was in all your favorite 90s sitcoms. He was somebody's boyfriend in some 90s sitcom. He had his own show in the late 90s. And he was in the Amanda Bynes show, What I Like About You. Great show. And he's been in Roll Bounce. He's been in Remember the Days. He's been in a lot of movies, a lot of things. He's been great. And today we're going to give him his flowers. What sparked this Forever Flowers is, as of the time of recording this video, yesterday, at the time of recording this video, so the day before the time of recording this video, I was a part of something really dope. I follow Cleo Thomas on a lot of things, and he has a Patreon, and yesterday was the 15th anniversary of Roll Bounce, and as we know, Wesley Johnathen played Sweetness in Roll Bounce. And so Cleo was going to have a watch party, and he put out like information on his Twitter and on his Instagram asking the cast if they wanted to come and be a part of it. And no one really answered, but Wesley Johnathen said, of course, I will come. I will give all the secrets. I will do all the things, right? So Wesley Johnathen, he came yesterday. We did a watch party. Cleo did a watch party of Roll Bounce, and him and Wesley Johnathen were there, and they gave all the secrets and they told all the things, and it was just incredible. And I was like, wow. And then it was really, really cute because it was like Cleo and Wesley, they go back really far, right? So I'm gonna get into this, but Wesley Johnathen had this show back in the day. It was called City Guys, and Cleo guest starred on an episode as a cute little kid, because he was a cute little kid. So that's how they linked up the first time, right? And then Cleo and him were also in a movie called BAADASSSSS together, and they were also in Roll Bounce together, and they were also in Remember the Days together. So all those combined, like, Wesley and Cleo know each other really well, and it was just really, really, really special to see Cleo giving Wesley his flowers and vice versa, because, you know, times are hot out here and you just never know. And so to see two black men from the industry who have been in it for a while and have reinvented themselves countless times, to see them giving each other their flowers and being so excited to see each other and just happy, I really, really appreciated that. So it inspired me to do this Forever Flowers for my man, Wesley Johnathen. So Wesley Johnathen Waples, born October 18th, 1978, shout out him being an October baby, hello, is an American actor best known for his starring role as Jamal Grant on the NBC Saturday morning comedy drama series City Guys, Gary Thrope in the comedy sitcom What I Like About You, Sweetness in the film Roll Bounce, Noah Cruz in the film Crossover, and Burl Stamp's Velveteen on TV Land's The Soul Man. So yeah, so basically Wesley Johnathen, he was born October 18th, 1978 in LA. He started his career acting in early 1990s, and he had his two main roles in two series, City Guys and What I Like About You. And he landed his first job in a music video for Melissa Manchester. He also started working on 21 Jump Street. Wesley Johnathen has starred and co-starred on many different shows. He's guest starred on many different shows. Sister, Moesha, Boy Meets World, Smart Guy, Thea, Baywatch, A Different World, Boston Public, Crossover, National Lampoon's Bad Boy, Divine Intervention, Roll Bounce, and the film Panther. Wesley is married at this point, and he has a daughter who we got to see yesterday on the watch party. She is so beautiful. And he was raised Jehovah's Witness. So yeah, that's just a little insight into who Wesley is. Now let's break it all the way down into his film career and his television appearances. So in 1995, he was in a film called Panther. They talked about it a little bit yesterday. I'd never seen the movie Panther. I think I was too young at that point. But Panther, I think, was a movie it's a cinematic adaptation of Melvin Van Peebles' novel Panther, produced and directed by Mario Van Peebles. And the drama film portrays the Black Panther Party for self-defense, tracing the organization from its founding through its decline in a compressed time frame. It was the first narrative feature film to depict the Black Panther Party. So yeah, it was a movie about the Black Panthers, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's going to play a role in a different movie coming soon that we're going to talk about. So he was in the Panther, and then in 2002 he was in Stormwatch, and then in 2002 he was in Scream at the Sound of the Beat, and then in 2003 he was in Badass. So Badass is basically a movie about Melvin Van Peebles and his son Mario Van Peebles played him. And basically the story, Cleo was in this movie and Wesley Johnathen was in this movie. And Cleo played Mario Van Peebles, playing his father. Melvin Van Peebles played his son. Anyways, so basically Badass is a story which I still need to watch. I really want to watch this movie, but I can't find it anywhere, which sucks. But hopefully in the future I will find this movie and watch it. But Badass is basically a movie about Melvin Van Peebles in the 70s and how he was an independent Black filmmaker. And he came out during the era of Blaxploitation movies. And so that was basically what Badass was about. It was about his journey in making a Black film independently in the 70s. And Cleo says this all the time, but he says that one of the things that was really weird was that Melvin Van Peebles had to not trademark, but when studios would come around, he had to pretend as if he was filming a porno just to get his film any kind of recognition, which is so whack, by the way. Whether he's making one or not, that's whack. Just because you're Black doesn't mean you have to be making seedy things. You could be making a whole incredible movie and they would never know it because white people and white executives. Anyways, I digress, but that's a really heavy movie. But anyways, Wesley Johnathen played his character from Panther in Badass, because Melvin Van Peebles made Panther. It's a whole thing and it's really incredible, and you should go watch Panther and you should go watch Badass, please. In 2003 he also did The United States of Leland. In 2005 he did Roll Bounce Right Out as Sweetness. My favorite scene in Roll Bounce, one of my favorite scenes, I have a lot of favorite scenes, but one of my favorite scenes is when Sweetness comes out, right, and he goes and does his first skate out, because no one's seen him skate yet. We just seen his crew going off on the Garden Boys and whatever. And so the next time they go to the roller rink and they're over there, and X, played by Bow Wow, had to bring his little sister along, who is super cute. And so she's over there, hanging out with them, and they all gather around when Sweetness comes out, right? And so Sweetness comes out and he starts skating and he's doing all these things, and then he just rolls right over to X's sister and kisses her on the cheek or whatever, and she just faints. And I'm like, that is so cute. Oh my god, I love it. Wesley Johnathen did an incredible job on Roll Bounce, and it was just really beautiful to see last night the dedication and hard work that he put into that movie. Because as I'm going to talk about later, Wesley Johnathen has had many lives. Like many child actors, he has had many lives in who he is as an actor. From being a child star to being a teenage star to being an adult star. And I love it, And I feel like with Wesley Johnathen and people like Cleo Thomas and people, they have had very many iterations of who they are as a actor in a good way. And I'll explain more about that later. In 2006, he was in Crossover. In 2007, he was in National Lampoon's Bag Boy. In 2007, he was in Divine Intervention. In 2008, he was in Cuttin' the Mustard. In 2009, he was in B-Girl. In 2009, he was in STEPPIN the movie. In 2010, he was in Speed Dating. In 2012, he was in Dysfunctional Friends. In 2013, he was in Make Your Move 3D. So that's movies, okay? That's movies. So somehow they left out Remember the Days, which I think came out in 2007, which is another movie he made with Cleo Thomas, as I said. And I just watched Remember the Days this week or last week. This is no offense to Cleo. This is no offense to Wesley Johnathen. This is no offense really to the cast at all. They had some really good people in there. They had Wesley Johnathen, Cleo Thomas. They had Alexa Vega from Spy Kids. I've seen better movies that have done the whole, it's the last day of school, we're about to go into summer, we're seniors, we're about to embark on this really like college and starting our lives, and so we're gonna have one more night of debauchery and like have this party and get drunk and high and all these things. I've seen better movies that have done that, and this is no disrespect again to Cleo or to Wesley. Y'all did incredible in the movie, but I just feel like this movie didn't give us reasons to care about these characters. They didn't open up who these characters were enough for us to care. Like, I feel like in Can't Hardly Wait or in Dazed and Confused, they gave us reasons to actually care about the characters that were having these issues or were going through these things or having these life dilemmas about why it matters that, you know, they're going off to do, you know, college or go off and live their life after, you know, so many years in high school, right? I just didn't get that connection from this movie. And again, no disrespect to this cast, no disrespect to anything. I don't know. For me personally, I didn't get that from this movie. I wouldn't say it's a terrible movie. I wouldn't say it's a great movie. I would just say it's a movie that exists. And if you want to go watch it, cool. But it's kind of, I don't know. It's weird. But yeah. And also, Brie Larson was in this movie too. Yeah, it had a kind of a like, because it was 2007, so a lot of people hadn't been like introduced to us fully at that point. So like a lot of people were just like around, you know. And so like you had heavy hitters like Wesley Johnathen and even Cleo Thomas at that point. But then you had people you didn't really know but would become bigger stars later. So I mean, it's cute. It's not my cup of tea, but it's cute. It's cute. It's cute. Okay. So into television, which is where I know Wesley Johnathen the best from, okay? As we know, as of recording this at this time, Netflix has got it going on. Shout out to Strong Back Leads, a part of Netflix where basically they remind us all the time of our faves from our childhoods and how they deserve their flowers. Kind of similar to what I'm doing here. But they decided to do the ultimate, and I love them for it. They decided to finally get some of our favorite WB/UPN television shows on Netflix for the first time ever, and it's incredible, okay? They have Moesha, as of now, and coming soon. They have Moesha, they have The Parkers, they have One-on-One, they have Girlfriends the Game, they have Sister Sister, they have Half and Half coming, and I think that might be it, but I don't really remember. But yeah, I'm excited, okay? It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So I'm excited about all this. But yeah, shout out to Strong Back Leads, and shout out to Wesley Johnathen, because he was in Moesha, he was in Sister Sister, he was in Boy Meets World, as they said. He was in a lot of our childhood faves, and I love it. He was in Smart Guy. Like, he was in a lot of things, okay? So we love to see it. So here's a little rundown of what he was in back in the 90s and early 2000s, making life great. So he was in one episode of 21 Jump Street in 1990. From 1990 to 1991, he was in Get a Life. In 1991, he was in 2 episodes of Baywatch. In 1992, he was in an episode of A Different World. In 1993 to 1994, he was in Thea for 3 episodes. In 1995, he was in Misery Loves Company in 8 episodes. In 1995, he was in Boy Meets World, Season 3, Episode 10, Train of Fools. Okay, at first when I saw he was in Boy Meets World, I was like, when was he in Boy Meets World? And then it dawned on me. It was the episode where Corey, Eric, Topanga, and Sean were going to this like fancy New Year's Eve thing, and they had to take the train for it, but the train broke down. Wesley Johnathen was one of the passengers on the train. It's all connected, man. 1996, he was in Moesha. He played Norman in an episode. He was with Kim. It was the episode where Moesha was trying to do this like charity thing for the church or whatever. It was like this black youth thing that they were trying to raise money for, like a church or something. And the head boy or whatever his name was beefing with Moesha because, you know, why not? Moesha has strong values, and if you're a guy and you don't believe in her strong values, you're gonna have issues, right? So Moesha and Head Boy were beefing, but while Moesha and the Head Boy were beefing, Kim was getting her Mac on, right? So she was like, oh, okay. So she sees Wesley Jonathan's character, and he's being all cute and charming because, you know, whatever. Okay, can I also say something? I know, side tangent, but we love to see it because it's really, really, I love it. Did you notice how in most of his roles in the 90s, if it was like early enough, he had the whole, like, kind of like shaved on the side with the ponytail down the back, kind of like the samurai type deal, but for black boys. Loving it, okay? Anyways, so basically Kim is getting her Mac on, and she's like, oh, because they're like split up into committees, right? Because they're planning like a benefit or whatever. And so Kim was like, oh yeah, I'll do like baking or whatever. They had to do baking or something. And she was like, oh yeah, I'll go do baking. And then she grabs Wesley Johnathen, like, come on, let's go. And it was hilarious. I love that. I love it. In 1996, he was in Minor Adjustments in 3 episodes. In 1996, he was also in Promised Land, 1 episode. In 1996, he was also in News Radio in 1 episode. In 1994 to 1996, he was in Sister, but he's only in 3 episodes. Okay, so Sister. He was in Sister. He was in the 2nd episode of the show, 2nd or 3rd episode of the show, where Tia and Tamara they're trying to get dates for this dance, right? And, you know, both of them are not getting dates. The last minute, Tamara gets a date. Tia gets all pissed off. So she tries to get her man, who she loves, okay, well, they're like 14, so, but she's into this guy. His name is Charles, right? So Charles, of course, is busy that night, so she doesn't get to go to the dance. But eventually he ends up coming to her house because he's a pizza delivery boy, and they end up having a cute little night, and they watch horror films. It's so cute, right? So you have Charles, right? Then you have, I think it's like season 2, maybe, early season 2. You have him come back. You have Wesley Johnathen come back, but he's a completely different person. So season 1, you have Charles, right? Then Tia, for some strange reason, starts talking about this guy named Michael. Okay, I thought you were with Charles. I'm confused. Whatever. So then Michael becomes the thing. So now she's dating Michael, and Michael is Wesley Johnathen. So is Michael and Charles the same person? We don't know. We just don't know. And then he ends up being this other person named Pico. But Charles and Michael confused me because you had Charles, and then Charles changed to Michael. And then Michael changed from Wesley Johnathen to Brandon Adams, 2 great actors. But I'm like, how? I'm so confused. Is it Michael Charles or is it Michael Brandon Adams? I'm so confused. But he did great on that show, and we love to see it. Okay? We love to see it. Then in 1997, he was in The Practice for 1 episode. In 1997, he was also in Smart Guy for the 5th episode of the show. So he played Tyler on Smart Guy. And basically he was Yvette's boyfriend. And basically it was the episode where Taj, or TJ, and Mo, they had to do this class project, like this science project or whatever. And TJ, being the super genius that he is, decides, oh, let's take this concept of like animal documentary type style and put it into humans, right? So he does all these pranks on his brother. He does, he changes Yvette's magazines to make it so that she can get Wesley Johnathen's character Tyler to act right and like come, pick her up on time and like act like a good boyfriend and whatever. And it was hilarious. TJ had Wesley Johnathen, Tyler. He had him over here catching frisbees and acting like a dog, literally, and doing all these things, and it was like really cute. From 1997 to 2001, he was in City Guys. So City Guys was his first leading role, and we love to see it. So glad that was his show, right? And I'm so glad he got his show, because every person who comes through the ranks in the 90s deserves to have their own show. Now, not all of them get that or get to have leading roles in a show. Some of them choose to, some of them don't. Some of them end up being in roles on TV, right? Like guest starring roles on TV, but then really, really pick it up in the acting world afterwards. So that's cool. And sometimes vice versa. So it just depends. But Wesley Johnathen got really lucky. He got to be in City Guys, and that was his first leading role. And it was great to see it. City Guys, it was a show that aired on NBC for 5 seasons, and it was a part of Saturday morning block TNBC. The series was very similar in style to Saved by the Bell, but with an urban setting and more diverse cast. City Guys was mainly centered on its 2 main characters, Jamal Grant, played by Wesley Johnathen, and Chris Anderson, 2 teenagers from different backgrounds. Chris coming from a wealthy family and Jamal coming from a working class family who had to stay on the ball while attending Manhattan High School, which was nicknamed in the series as Manny High, and avoid trouble, while their principal, Karen Noble, attempted to keep them in line and out of trouble. Jamal and Chris's similar personalities caused friction between them in the beginning, but they became best friends as the series went on. The boys and their friends, overachiever Don Tredekoff, slick guy Al Ramos, aspiring actress Cassie, and dim-witted bully turned friend who was held back 6 grades, Lionel L. Train Johnson, dealt with the typical teen issues such as cheating on tests, peer pressure, racism, and dealing with school violence. So yeah, we love to see it. So I'm really proud of Wesley Johnathen for getting his own show. I never watched City Guys, so I need to go back and watch that show, definitely. But yeah, really, really super proud of Wesley Johnathen for getting his own show. He deserved it. He put his time in the 90s, doing all the guest starring roles, and he deserved to have his own show. Similar in the way that Merlin Santana put in his work to get into the role of Romeo. So super proud. Super proud. And like I said, how Cleo Thomas and Wesley Johnathen met in the first place is because they worked in City Guys together. Cleo was in an episode. You can look up a video on his YouTube channel, Cleo's YouTube channel, basically saying it's like roles before holes, and it talks about City Guys and how he was in an episode with him and how inspired he is by Wesley Johnathen. So it's beautiful to see. It really is. In 1998, he was in The Parenthood in one episode. In 1998, he was also in NYPD Blue in one episode. In 1998, he was also in US High, one episode. In 2001, he was in Boston Public, 2 episodes. In 2001, he was also in Judging Amy, 1 episode. In 2001, he was also in Felicity, 1 episode. In 2002 to 2006, he was in What I Like About You, and he played Gary Thrope. I love What I Like About You. It was such a good show. So I never watched the show, and then I did watch the show once it became in reruns on this channel called The End. The End was like this channel that showed like Degrassi and all these other teen shows or whatever. And so I watched it when it was in reruns. I love that show. I wish they would put that show on streaming, because I want to watch that show again. That was a good show. But yeah, totally. What I Like About You, great show, and I'm so glad he got to be in the lead role. And you know, when I think about it now, like, my brain does not compute, like, that was Wesley Johnathen. Like, it really doesn't do that. I don't know why, but it's like, sis, that was Wesley Johnathen. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, yeah, it really was Wesley Johnathen. Like, I don't know why I act like it's not. My brain, I don't know. I'm crazy. In 2003, he was in Greetings from Tuscan, 2 episodes. In 2008, he was in CSI Miami, 1 episode. In 2008, he was also in NCIS in 1 episode. In 2009, he was in Cold Case, 1 episode. In 2011, he was in 90210, 1 episode, the remake. In 2011-2014, he was in LeBron's in 23 episodes. You love to see it. In 2012-2016, he was in The Soul Man. And in 2015, he was in Whitney, in that movie. He played Babyface. In 2016, he was in Bad Dad Rehab, a TV movie. In 2018 to present, he's been in this show called Monogamy. And yeah, Wesley Johnathen is incredible. I have watched Monogamy. Okay, so I watched an episode of Monogamy one time. It's on this app. I forget what the app is called, but he is really good in that. I haven't finished watching it and I need to, but he was incredible in that. And if you really, it's about couples, but they end up doing, like, they have all these issues, right? Having all these issues because they can't deal with their problems. And so they end up doing like this, kind of like this Survivor-esque thing. And it's kind of secretive and whatever. I don't, like I said, I only seen 1 episode, so I don't fully like know what the whole show is really about. But from the 1 episode, I was like, okay, this is good. This is a good show. So you should check it out. But yeah, and he was an executive producer on the show too, so that's dope. But yeah, Wesley Johnathen. Wesley Johnathen just really has been a part of my childhood since before I can really remember. And it's just beautiful to see his rise and his rise and his rise, because Wesley Johnathen is really important. I put him in the same category as I put like a Merlin Santana and a Brandon Adams, because those were the same type of people who were his peers at the time, you know, like even our boy who played Hakeem on Moesha. Like, I put you guys in this, and even the guy who played Bud on The Cosby Show. I put y'all in these categories together because you came through the ranks in the same kind of way together. And it's just beautiful to see. Like, I love it, you know? Like, I really do love to see Lamont Bentley. I love to see Wesley Johnathen and Brandon Adams and Merlin Santana. Like, I love to see you guys get your flowers, because you guys were really important to a lot of our childhoods and a lot of our teenage years. And I just don't see your names talked about as much. And I just think that that's sad, because without you, like, and your contributions to like everything, well, where would we be? You know what I mean? So I just value all of you. I value Wesley Johnathen and all of his accomplishments and all of his contributions to the craft of acting, because you guys are incredible. And I just wish Wesley Johnathen more and more and more success in everything that he ever does in his career, because he deserves it. He's incredible, and he is one of the few child actors, which Cleo and him had a whole conversation last night about child actors versus child stars, and how child actors are more so in the way of, you were child actors and you were able to do the child actor to teen actor to adult actor transition pretty smoothly, and you didn't let the fame get to your head, versus a child star who is a child star. You know what I mean? They had all this fame at a very early age, and they did not know how to handle it, and then their careers kind of go down the tanks. So I appreciate people like Wesley Johnathen because he was able to do the child actor thing really well, and he's become a really great adult actor and done incredible things in his career, and we love to see it. So yeah, this has just been another Forever Flowers on Wesley Johnathen. Peace.